Top of the morning, afternoon, or evening, folks. It's Captain Liam here. I'm just going to go and check on Instagram and connect that and then come back. The purpose of Check-In Tuesdays is to raise awareness for yacht crew and to hopefully build a community that seems to understand the challenges we face. But happy Check-In Tuesday. My name's Captain Liam. I'm on the bridge of Unbridled. I think Captain Scott might be joining us shortly, and Captain Kelly.
Hi!
Technology.
There we are.
We keep evolving. How are you both?
We do. You know, I think
Great.
last time I was with you, I was on the other side of the world and I was in the car and the sun was setting and it got dark. And now I'm at MPT hiding in the bridge, albeit fake bridge. And there's no lights in here. So I'm in the car again.
Well, you always shine in my eyes, Captain Kelly.
Yeah.
Ah, thanks, fellas.
And how are you, Scott? How are you, Cap?
Oh, I'm good, man. Good, man. Just plugging along, getting ready for the new things.
Yeah. I love seeing your calendar behind you each week. I'm like, he's a busy guy. He's got a calendar behind
Yeah,
him.
well, I don't know if you know the guy Jesse Eitzler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his big ass calendar, and you put all your non-negotiables in red, like family stuff or whatever. You put that on there, and then you schedule everything else around it, so that instead of putting work first, like the old mantra really was, you do like, hey, kid's birthday, this, that, or whatever first, and then build everything else around it. So I've been doing that particular thing for a couple of years, but I've just bought his calendar this year just so I can look at it every day.
Yeah, good idea.
I like it.
Helpful.
I still get stuck into the work world. I don't know how to disconnect from it sometimes when I'm on a yacht.
Yeah.
What's your tips there, Captain Kelly? Because I wake up like this morning, 6 o'clock, wake up straight into the work mode. And I didn't even go for my morning walk. I was like, today's an exciting day. I get to see Captain Kelly and Captain Scott.
Thank you. I was like, I get to see the fellas. I'm like, this is great. It's hard because I woke up at like 4:30 this morning. My eyeballs popped wide open, and I was like, oh my God, I lost the fuel receipt. The office is going to kill me. The fuel receipt. I think I washed it. I think it's in the washing machine. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Because I'm like, I watched the fuel receipt, So that's a good question, like how do you disconnect? And I see it a lot of times with captains, obviously, and department heads, is they have a really hard time. Even my chiefs too, God love her, but there's times that I'm like, you have to switch it off. Like, we
you gotta
can't
get out of here
about work like all the freaking time. I love you that you're this devoted, but for real, I mean, maybe that is the topic of our discussion, is how do you shut it off? Because if you don't, you drive yourself like insane.
Yeah. I don't know, like shutting off, or do you just add things on? Like you add things on to justify yourself, to keep yourself busy, so you don't identify the actual real issues. And I'll be vulnerable. And I find I do that. I run down these rabbit holes of AI or nuclear or whatever. And my wife's known me for 18 years and married, and she keeps looking at me. She goes, "How do you come up with these rabbit holes? Like, why do you do this to yourself?" I'm like, "It's interesting,
You know what? I think you're right. I think, being completely honest, I think that we continue to fill our schedule. Even if there's an empty spot, we must fill it, because to some extent, it probably does keep us from facing whatever's going on at the moment. Because if we're busy, then we're not thinking about that. We're thinking about the thing that we're busy with.
Yeah.
So, wow, kudos to you. Vulnerable moment, man. But I just thought all three of us are guilty of that, except for Scott back there with the red dots. He might be.
He's on to something. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
It works, but I'm far from perfect. I go down the rabbit holes as well, and sometimes I get up and I just go full steam ahead, and it might be on my calendar, but sometimes I go in the black hole of the calendar where all that just goes away and I just plow into whatever I'm doing. But I've kind of trained myself to do like a morning routine, and I've started to actually do an evening routine, just so I kind of shut myself down and I start myself up. Because the same guy, Jesse Eisler, he talked about his morning actually starts at 8 o'clock the night before. Like,
Wow.
and on how he goes to sleep, because if he sleeps bad, his morning's bad. So he kind of noticed that, and it kind of clicked something with me, because at a certain point, like, you have to shut off, or else you just one, you drive yourself crazy, and then everybody around you, because I used to be. Well, I had one good, still a friend, Captain Kevin. He called me Captain ADD when I was younger, just because we'd go into the shipyard and I'd just rip everything apart and just keep going until I finished. I drove everyone crazy. He'd be like, Saturday, come on guys, we got one, and they're like, it's Saturday, Cap. We don't have a trip on the books for like 3 months. Like, we're okay. It's Saturday. All right, what do we do?
Yeah.
No, that reminds me of my engineer, because he's like that too. He's like a massive overachiever and very busy, and put work first. And he's my engineer is also my boyfriend, so I can talk about him on here. But one of the things. Okay. One of the things that I think that he did wrong previously was not putting his family first, and I pointed it out to him. And I said, you're repeating this again. And although we don't have kids, I said to him a couple things. I said, are you winning any awards? And he said, no. And I said, are you getting paid overtime? And he said, no. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to take Clark to the dog park. Are you staying here? Or are you going? And then he was like, okay. I'm coming. So it's like, granted, we take great care of the boss and everything, but that was kind of my way of saying, like, you need to stop. You need to sit down, because what you're missing out on is time to go, run and play in the dog park with me and Clark. And those are moments that you don't get back.
Yeah. So I guess you got to schedule that time is the key. Like I try, and each morning I get up at like about 5:36. I try and do a bit of breath work, and that gets harder. I think it gets harder and harder. I thought it was meant to get easier and easier, this breath work.
No, it doesn't.
So, I go for a walk for like half an hour each direction. And then, in the afternoon, the same thing. But it's like on a Sunday, Captain Kelly, we were chatting on a Sunday, and I was like, look, Cap, I got to zone out here. And what I do is I go to a movie. I have the $25 unlimited movie package at Regal, I think it is.
Oh, cool.
I just sit there and I make sure I get a nice movie with a reclining chair, put my phone down, I just lie back and just zone out for 2 hours. And it's the only time in the week I think I really disconnect. It's weird. Because it's
I thought about doing the same thing, getting the movie package, because I'll try to tell myself, hey, Alex, you want to sit down and watch a movie? And he'll be like, are we watching this movie, or are you going to be on your phone? And I'm answering emails, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
But females can multitask. Kelly. Females can multitask. Men can't.
See, exactly. So there's that. So I was like, what if I bought us like a movie pass and we went, and it was like a time, because I'm not going to be on my phone in the theater. You just don't do. And I'm like, would this be like a dedicated time, like every Sunday, that you're going to go and you're going to chill, you're going to relax, I like your idea. See, you're onto something.
That could be a pretty good. I really love. I used to always watch movies, but I have a tough time now finding anything that's not been done. I haven't found any really good ones in a long time. I can zone out.
Sleep though a lot though. And if I'm with my wife or children, they bump me like, "Dad, you're snoring." And I'm like that's comfortable. I'm in my place. This is where I'm meant to be now. So, once I went with my daughter and she lifted the chair up, so it was upright, so I wasn't making any noise. I'm like, sorry, sweetheart. Sorry.
That's
But I
awesome.
watch everything. Like I saw there was I think it's called Toy Story 6 or something. And, you know,
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
I'll watch. Yeah, cool. Toy Story 6. Why not? Let's challenge myself. And because it's just one, you put your phone down, you can't touch it for an hour and a half. You got a bit of popcorn or something. Your mind has to slow down.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key. But talking about not slowing it down, Captain Kelly, you're in class now. You're back to school.
This week and next week, I can't slow it down. It
No.
needs to keep
moment.
going. Yeah.
No.
No. So, I mean, yeah, let's talk about that. Like continuing education, it never stops, right? You know,
No.
I've got my 1,600 ton now, and this is my last class, and I have my 3,000. So I'm so excited. So I'm advanced ship handling, and then I want to say that's it. I'm done. Well, that's it. I'm done for my 3,000. But as we know, it never stops, right? You never stop. You never stop. And I was just talking to the instructor here, and you know, all these guys used to run big ships, much larger than anything that we've ever run. And I asked him, I said, well, why did you stop running ships? And he's like, well, I kind of fell into teaching. And I said, well, then why do you stay teaching? And he says, because I'm learning so much.
Oh,
And
nice.
he's like, and I identified with him because I used to teach, and I remember going through school, you know, 7.5 years of college, and finally this first lecture that I had, I remember facing the board, writing and talking, and like this concept that I had understood for 7.5 years clicked. But like I understood it, but I didn't really know the meaning or the significance of it. And so he started talking about that, and he was talking about why he loves teaching so much, because he's like, after all of his years at sea, now he's like he's learning so much more because he's having to teach it. So this fella, even though I say this is my last class, is not my last class, not the end of learning. But as we know, in this industry, some either have, well, you usually have to quit a job to go to school, and that really kind of sucks in this industry. So I mean, what do we do to change that? How do we fortunately, my owner's really supportive about, you know, he likes his crew to be smart, so he sends us to school. You know, how do we get
I think in answer to your question, you have to like add it as part of the package. Like we always had it as like, if you do a year or if you do 6 months, we'll pay for a course, provided it's, you know, for your job description or benefiting you more. But if you leave, you know, if after you've taken the class, you leave within a year, you got to pay part of it back, just because, you know, we're investing in that person, and every year you can take a course. Granted, the time that you have to allow the person to go to school, sometimes that doesn't happen. You know, it's pretty tough. And I think it's just beneficial, good for us and for them and for the crew. You know, they see that we're investing in them, and same thing like a flight or more time off and stuff like that. I think it's just something else that we can offer for them. But I think we have to, because if we're trying to raise the standard and we're not helping them raise their standard, then we're not really doing anything, are we?
No.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love continued education, but there's also continual professional development. And what I mean by that is, like, for people out there, you don't have to just take a whole week and go to school. You can do an online course like Udemy. Ask the captain, you know, like, you know, I'm looking at this $59 Udemy course about whatever, or a masterclass about something. Is there a way we can look at reimbursing that after 3 months or 6 months? Because it is continued professional development. And I think that's the way, crew. Like, I love a certificate. I don't know why. Like, when I get one, I'm always proud of my certificates. And I got one the other day for this AI certification, which took me like 12 hours. And I was like, oh, I'm quite proud of that, actually. I'm quite proud of this certificate, you know? So put it on the file, you know, put it on the file. People out there, though, Captain Kelly, there's going to be a lot of questions come, because you're talking about a 3,000 ton master ticket. That's more MCA, correct? That's more yacht.
So I'm American, so I have my Coast Guard license, and so what that does is that allows me to then have the STCW license, so that I can essentially run any boat anywhere up to that 3,000 gross tons, whether it's yachting or whether it's in the commercial capacity, where the Coast Guard license is different than the MCA. MCA is for yachting. And fortunately, if I want to go run the Mississippi River on some big tugs, you know, something like that, then I could with this license. So, and you know what, do I need it to run Cabo? No, what I have right now is fine. But do I want it? I want it. Do I want to keep
absolutely. Absolutely.
I do. And then, you know, but I want to go back to something, because you're talking about, well, it doesn't have to be like a course in MPT or something like that. And it doesn't even have to be a master class. When you're talking about continuing education, it could be something as simple as, when you're scrolling through your phone, look for good articles, you know, look for good little excerpts, you know, listen to a podcast, because I don't like to read long books, but I love to read like short articles. So, you know, I like to Google a lot about leadership. And so now, like, you know, then when you get on your phone, those types of articles start popping up. And so even if it's just 5 minutes a day, I love leadership, and I love to read something about that, or hormones, because that's the new thing since I'm 44. That stuff's coming up now in my Instagram feed. You're 44. Do you need to think? And I'm like, shut up, Instagram. Leave me alone.
I do not.
Someone told me I could do a testosterone test, and I did it, and I went down this rabbit hole of testosterone, and then on my feed is all this testosterone. I'm like, I don't know. Where did I start? How did I start this?
You look at one article, and next thing you got 50, and it does not stop. It's quite relentless. You just keep getting it.
It's like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to change my settings to like 24. So
if you really want to mess with somebody, you just take their phone and just put a bunch of random stuff you look on their phone, just start scrolling through all these weird stuff.
YouTube, I said, well, I kind of unwind at the end of the day, and we'll go into how maybe all of us unwind, but I do go onto YouTube, and I either watch a short. There's a lot more shorter and shorter documentaries, like 6 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Great. I watched this one about Hells Bay Yachts. Have you heard of Hells Bay Yachts in southern Florida?
No.
What was the hurricane? Was it Andrew that cleaned out 1994? So after Andrew came through, there was this gentleman, I forget his name, who lost a lot of the businesses, and he started to become a guide down the Everglades National Park. And he ended up building these little platforms, these Hells Bay boats, or yachts they're called, small boats, like little bass boats almost. And it's become a huge boat. Like, it's become a very popular name for people going out there for tarpon fishing and snook and things like that. But it was 10 minutes of his life. And it was his whole life in 10 minutes. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. It's a good way to disconnect rather than spending an hour watching a movie, you know?
Well, and so that's like, I'm not going to spend that long, or I'm not going to read a big, like, huge, massive textbook on leadership or whatever. So, like, even, you know, when you start looking for that stuff, then it starts popping up on your YouTube, or you start watching a certain type of documentary on Netflix or something, and that stuff starts popping up. So going back to this whole continuing education, it doesn't have to be a long book. It doesn't have to be a huge movie. It doesn't have to be a master class. It can literally just be an article a day. Even if, like, what if you committed to reading something about that you want to learn or get better at for just 5 minutes. You can read a lot in 5 minutes.
It's a lot. That's throughout the year. That's a lot. I mean, you get to those 10,000 hours of reading or what have you pretty fast if you're doing 5-10 minutes a day. I mean, they say that if you read for 20 minutes a day, you can read 50 books or something like that. And I did that. I did that quite a few years ago. It was funny. My daughters were younger, and I got to, like, right after Christmas. I was like, look, Alana, I'm finishing book 50. And she goes, Dad, you know, there's 52 weeks in the year. I was like, oh, now I got to read 2 more.
And what's your unwind, Captain Kelly? Like, what's your, you know, after a stressful trip or something, or a week?
My dog.
Oh, that's good.
My dog.
That's great.
I
Your partner's going to be a bit jealous now. He's going to be like, hang on, wrong answer.
Yeah.
I know.
What
Except
about me?
for like he tries to snag her too. So then it's like all right, Clark, who's your favorite? Is it me or is it him? So yeah. Poor girl. So no, I honestly I'm an introverted extrovert. So all day long I'm extroverting, and even love to go on stage and speak and be big, but at the end of the day, that's it.
Yeah.
Social battery's flat. Honestly, I like to crawl under my covers, read a little bit, flip through, try to find something good on Netflix, snuggle with the dog, take the dog for a walk. It's been fun recently to try to teach, I have a dog that can't swim worth anything. And so like we're in Antigua, and been taking her to the beach and teaching her to swim. And it's crazy. You talk about it all the time, both of you do, about getting out in nature. And it's insane because sometimes my go-to can be to just crawl under the covers and just go, but that's not always the right thing. And sometimes it can cop out. So you need to get off the boat and take her for a walk, take her for a swimming lesson, throw the ball for her and play tug of war with her. And it's insane, just dog or not, being outside. And you guys say it all the freaking time.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, that fresh air. There's something about the fresh air. Like as soon as you get off, self-captain Scott, I love seeing you go down to the beach. That was like when you're walking down to the beach, I'm like, well, that time we went for a swim, that was such a great swim.
Oh man, that was the best. The highlight of my day. It was all downhill after that. But it got me through. I was like, that was a great thing. Like, cause we're just swimming around. I was like, man, this is, we did a little beach cleanup and, everything else. We had to hustle to get out of there and everything else. And but,
all of us didn't want to leave. We're all like, yep, gotta go.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was. It was. Was it that obvious that I didn't want to leave?
No, I didn't want to go either.
But it's especially living on board. It's just easy to go to your cabin and not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how do you force yourself to go out and to go do something and not take the easy route of just, and I'll even try to convince myself sometimes, this is what I want to do, when I know darn well I need to get off the boat and I need to go do something. How do you make yourself go when the covers are so comfortable?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it's like on my walks in the morning, I'm like, why am I doing this? I question myself, and I'm like, it's got to be good for me. It is good.
Yeah.
You do it so often, you're like, why am I doing it? So I have to change it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing, just getting off the boat, is somebody told me, I don't remember. I'll try to remember who it was that told me, but just whenever you're on your walk or whatever, try to notice 3 things on your walk that you didn't notice before.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, just notice how you feel.
Yeah, because it does it does change the way you feel. Like you're like, oh, I never noticed that before. And then you kind of start to break that pattern of wherever you're in, and you kind of just say, okay, this is my time to relax or whatever. And sometimes you do have to tell yourself, like, just relax. It's all gonna be fine. This is gonna pass. And then you're the crazy person in the park talking to yourself, but whatever.
You as well, guys. I don't know.
I do it all the time. Usually people clear oh, here he comes again. Let's get out of his way. Who knows what he's gonna do?
Yeah. Get out of your space and your comfort zone. Like I was walking the other day and I saw this young gentleman, and he was fishing and he caught a fish and he's taking a picture of himself and he's so proud of himself. And then I went, oh, that's beautiful. And he's like, can you take a picture? And I'm like, yeah, I took a picture. And it was a smallmouth bass. And so I think I don't know. I think Captain Kelly, I think you got to put yourself in take yourself out of your reality.
Yeah,
you think so important, and then just try and go into someone else's reality as a conversation or a coffee, or when you speak to the barista in the morning, and show gratitude. And I think that can help reset your mind a little bit, because we're all in our own world so much, and phones keep us in that world.
Yeah.
Well, I ask myself sometimes when I get too spun up, and I was sharing this with you the other day, that 2 things. One, ask yourself, will this matter in 6 months from now?
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, the answer is no. So if it
Yeah.
won't matter 6 months from now, why are you giving it so much energy now? And then the other thing that I was sharing with you is when my little mind gets to spinning, for the younger folks listening, this goes way back to the days of the projector, where the movie projectors, where the tape spins and spins and spins. And my therapist one time told me, she says, envision cutting the tape. So that tape spinning and spinning and spinning is your mind spinning and spinning and spinning. And you need a visualization technique to make that stop, or you're going to drive nuts. So I visualized myself with a pair of scissors cutting the tape. And it's like, that's my way of saying, okay, enough is enough. You're not going to keep beating this dead horse, you know? And so I do that. And I ask myself, is this going to matter in 6 months from now? And the answer is no. So why?
Yeah. Or can I decision do I make now that affects that? You know, and most times you can't do anything. You're just thinking about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to take a minute to mention Yachtie Minds Matter, because I know you're busy. You're going to go back to class. I've put a QR code donate. I don't know how to do this, but I figured that out.
You got it.
So do I point to it?
I can't.
I think so.
No, I'm there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Look at us generation. Look at us generation. You know, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Yachtie Minds Matter is super important. It's really, you know, it's been like a year and a half, 2 years now, correct?
Yeah. It has, yeah, and it's crazy. It's like I say it's bittersweet. It's sweet because so many yachties are getting the help that they need, but the bitter part of it is seeing how many got help. And so that kind of is it's hard in one sense, and the second is awesome to know what therapy did for me. I'm so happy, and so it's folks are using it, but I can't encourage and stress donation enough, because really the lifeblood of a nonprofit is donation. And boy, have I learned a lot in running. So I was saying, I've learned so much running a nonprofit in the last year and a half, and donations really are the lifeblood of them. So thank you guys for supporting them. Thank you for trying to always, you know, fundraise and help and get people to donate. But it's just, you know what, maybe we should have a session where we talk about Yachting Minds Matter and what it does and who it can help. And I don't know, maybe dive into some statistics at some point. But thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is there, you know, I went to a conference a while back, and a lot of it was with these NGOs and stuff, and they were pretty big organizations, and there's a big push they called it sustainable philanthropic. Sustainable philanthropy.
Yeah.
But they made created organizations, so there's a way that you could maybe have some revenue generation for people that you could kind of stand on your own, because they were saying that a lot of times certain causes fall out of favor, and you don't get as much donations, and they start to waver a little bit. But when they did, there was one that was and you know, homeless is a big problem, but it had the homelessness, and they made it into an entire business where everyone had training, where people could get jobs. And there was someone that was on the streets, and then they were also an event coordinator, and they were actually doing events in Washington, I think, or something. And they were bringing money into the organization and they were selling. They had a restaurant they made, and all kind of life skills and stuff that would kind of help. And I don't know if it's helpful at all, but some way to make it to where you kind of feed yourself, and it solves the problem at the same time. I mean,
I like that. And we're gonna have I'm gonna have to reach out to you. But I have to say, as you see that blue screen pop up, that's my
that's a kick out.
In front of me is my 1,000-foot oil tanker that's full and currently intentionally and my tanker that is currently beached, and so now this afternoon's task is for a successful refloat.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Well,
I want to hear about that.
Don't pump the oil out. You know,
I
pull you off. We'll come pull you off.
All right, thanks, Captain Kelly.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. She's incredible, Captain Scott,
Oh
isn't she?
man, that's really cool. Always have a smile on my face whenever I talk to her because she's such a great person.
Yeah, I mean, but good point what you made about donations and charities. People like I feel sorry for her because she's always got to go out and
Yeah,
donations. But you're saying if you look at it from a business perspective, how
yeah,
can you actually include? I think most yacht crew or most owners and management companies should be paying a percentage of either wages or
yeah.
the funding of the boat should go to these organizations in the industry like Yachtie Minds Matter or Ice One.
Yeah, and just making things to where they're sustainable. And I put a lot of thought into it. I got to check my notes because they did like they've done it in a lot of different organizations, and it's really ended up helping a lot more people. They still take donations, but they are like, you know, independent of the donations, but they still take more to build out more everywhere else and do that same model because and it's it, I think it's probably something that can be done probably just with a few simple processes put in because I think I would like to see it just grow and become bigger and not because it's really nonprofit is really really tough.
But what's the
It's
benefit of it? What's the benefit is obviously giving back to the community, but there's got to be, I think there's tax incentives as well, or
Yeah, there's a lot of tax incentives, and there's one you're having an impact. That's the
yeah,
main thing, but you're also you're really helping a lot of people. But if you run out of money, it can be a tough.
yeah,
That's a rude awakening there. That if you even just sell some kind of products that are helpful to other people and solve another problem for someone that someone will pay for, that I think it's a great thing. I think there's a big stigma in society anyway. If you make money, it's somehow wrong. If you're, and I don't think, I'm reading this book right now called Thou Shalt Prosper, and it's actually written by a rabbi, and it's like throughout the Torah, and it's not to get too religious or anything, but just throughout the Torah, it's all the lessons about money and success. And what I got out of it is that they have a big community. It's a reason why a lot of Jewish people are very successful because they have a huge community and they support each other, and not only in social situations but also in financially. And
yeah,
they don't look at being good at finance or anything like that as money is not the root of all evil. It's like if you buy something from me and it helps you in what you're doing, that's a good transaction. It's a good thing. One of
yeah,
the things that he said was like, look, take out $1 out of your pocket, and if you did something that was rewarding to get that, you didn't do any illicit means to get that, that's a great thing.
mm,
It's a trophy that proves that you earned that you did that. And like, wow, I never really, because I was, as a kid, money's the root of all, you hear that in church and everything, and it's like,
battle.
but the pastor's rich.
Yeah, exactly. And where do we donate? Here you go. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it comes by relentlessly at the same time.
yeah. Well, maybe we push the Yachty Minds Matter like swag because I would kind of wear the hats or put it on your
Yeah,
uniform, and when you're
yeah,
buying a uniform that has you're representing the industry, Yachty Minds Matter,
yeah,
and
like
part
a
of that
flag
donation.
or a pin. Yeah,
Yeah,
flag or a pin or something that we all wear. Something I think that'd be good. Or whatever. Buy the pin or something or whatever. For
yeah.
$50 donation or whatever.
There's our business mind going into it.
Yeah, I know. I don't stop when it comes. The problem is I go down rabbit holes of like that. I started and failed 50 businesses last night.
Oh, I think if my wife looked at all the businesses that I've thought of, and I went, that is a brilliant idea, and I'm like, that's it, Jeanette. And she's like, well, okay, let's wait 6 months and see.
Yeah,
I'll have another idea. So
yeah, yeah. I come up with a lot of them, but I've learned myself stay on one thing. Same thing with the AI. Solve one problem at a time.
yeah.
Just focus on one thing because you end up, you can't. What's that saying? If you chase two rabbits, you catch neither.
Wise words,
Oh,
Rabbi
yeah.
Scott. Right? Wise words, Rabbi. No, that's awesome. Actually, yeah, I had a Buddhist, philosophy that I read a book when I was young called The Power of Compassion. Right, and it's talking
Okay.
about trying to reset your mind. This is the
Yeah.
Check Tuesday, so we're going. Rabbi Scott and Monk Devlin here are going. It was The Power of Compassion by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and it said, look around you and look at how much effort people go into your everyday existence. Like, look at the water bottle, and
Yeah.
someone designed that, someone made it, someone printed it, someone shipped it, so every little part of your life has so much love that people have given to you that you have to have gratitude for that.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
a
that's
humble
cool.
reset.
No, that's really cool, because when you just realize everything around you. I've heard people say to me and other people like, "Oh, well, that's a crazy idea." And it's like, and I always thought everything around us was a crazy idea at some point, but somebody did something about it, and somebody put in, like you're saying, all that effort to make this table, this chair, this
Yeah.
this house, this that boat, all the equipment in there. Somebody thought it up, and somebody took it, all the way, saw it all the way through. So it's, I think it's pretty great. And the times that we live in right now, it's pretty incredible that,
Oh,
you're in Seattle. I'm in,
you know.
I'm in Florida. We're talking like we're right next to each other.
Yeah. There's a good connection. I know we've done Instagram a lot, but I like it on the computer. It's a lot more, personal, I think, Scott.
Yeah, then you can see it, you can see it
Rather than
on
us leaning in always and going.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually on my phone because I got my computer all in my bag and everything
Okay.
else. I got it packed up
All
my
right,
stuff.
brother. Well, I appreciate your time. I think the big takeaway today is if you try and catch two rabbits, you won't catch one.
You won't catch either, yeah.
You won't catch either. So stop trying to catch two
And
rabbits.
then there's that other one. It's one wolf is love and the other one is fear, and it's which one grows? It's the one you feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one too. That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, feed the good angel. There was one.
Yeah.
I remember a crew member always used to show up a little bit late, and I used to say, "Look, Vol is a lovely guy," and he's like, "I said the early bird catches the worm, right?" And he's like, "Second mouse gets the cheese, Cap."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fair enough, fair enough." He goes, "I don't want." He's like, "I don't want to eat worms. I'd rather eat cheese." I'm like, all right, well, you and me, buddy, you and me.
It's all right. The cheese is full of poison anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Full of worms. All right, buddy. Well, have a wonderful week. Once again, everyone, this is Check-In Tuesday. It's just designed to raise awareness for crew in the industry. If you're having any challenges, there's plenty of platforms to reach out to. You can reach out to Captain Scott or myself. You can also reach out to Iceman, Yachtie Minds Matter. There's some wonderful networks. Captain Kelly is an incredible ambassador for yacht crew in the industry. So you can donate here to Yachtie Minds Matter, buy some swag. Every little bit helps because it's a free platform for guests, for clients, and for crew to engage in, to donate, because then the crew, if they've got a problem, they can call up and get free advice and free help. And that's the goal of life. You know what I mean? Is to support each other through the challenges.
Amen. Love it.
Thanks, Captain Scott. See you next week, brother.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.